forward. Right, variables, type of operator. While writing code, it can be useful to keep track of the data types of the variables in your program. If you need to check the data type of variable's value, you can use the type of operator. The type of operator checks the value to its right and returns or passes back a string of the data type. All right, so like, for instance, like if the data type's undefined, it could be string, it could be a number, you name it. So it basically just does that. It just throws back the output. Look here, const unknown equals foo console.log type of unknown 1. So then it's going to give you obviously what it is. It's the output is string, and then we put in a number, so the output is number, and then we just put in true. The output is a boolean, which it is. All right. So that's the type of operator. Let's break down the first example. Since the value unknown 1 is foo, a string type of unknown 1 will return string. Use console.log to print the type of new variable. All right, so I'm going to console.log here. And type of, then I'm just going to put in here new variable. Right, and it should give me a string. As you can see there, it gives me a string. So great. Now let's check what happens if we reassign the variable below the console.log statement. Reassign new variable to 1. As you can see, I can reassign new variable only because of the fact of the matter is that it's a let variable. So if I use the const variable, then I wouldn't be able to actually reassign it to a new string because it's a constant variable. So this is why we use the let variable a lot of the times, unless you're not going to reassign the variable itself. So now I'm going to take the variable, which is new variable, and I'm going to reassign it to 1, the number 1. So great, now let's check what happens if we reassign the variable below the console.log statement, reassign new variable to 1. So we run it, still gives us a string. Okay, since you assigned this new value to the new variable, it has a new type. On the line below your reassignment, use console.log to print type of new variable. Okay, we're going to run that. As you can see, string number. Okay, let's move on. Learn variables. Review variables. Nice work. This lesson introduced you to variables, a powerful concept you'll be using in all your future programming endeavors. Let's review what we learned. Variables hold reusable data in a program and associated with a name. Variables are stored in memory. The var keyword is used in pre-ES6 versions of JS. Let is preferred way to declare a variable when it can be reassigned, and a const is the preferred way to declare a variable with a constant value. Variables that have not been initialized store the primitive data type undefined. Mathematical assignment operators make it easy to calculate a new value and assign it to the same variable. The plus operator is used to concatenate strings, including string values held in variables. In ES6, template literals use backticks and dollar curly braces to interpolate values into a string. The type of keyword returns the data type as string of a value. So that's what we've gone through. Let's move on. Okay, so the next project. Okay, this project is now Calvin Weather. So Calvin Weather, deep in his mountainside meteorology lab, the mad scientist Calvin has mastered weather prediction. Recently, Calvin began publishing his weather forecasts on his website. However, there's a problem. All of these forecasts describe the temperature in Kelvin. With our knowledge of JavaScript, let's convert Kelvin to Celsius, then to Fahrenheit. For example, 283 Kelvin converts to 10 degrees Celsius, which converts to 50 degrees Fahrenheit. Right, so let's start off. Task 1. The forecast today is 293 Kelvin. To start, create a variable named Kelvin. So we're going to start off with the variable Kelvin and set it equal to 293. The value saved to Kelvin will stay constant, so we're going to use a const variable. We'll take Kelvin and set it equal to the number 293. Okay. Choose the variable type with this in mind, okay, which is the const. Right, that's correct. Let's tick that off. Write a comment above to explain. Okay, so I'm going to write a comment below Kelvin. I'm just going to say temperature Kelvin. Set equal to 293. Okay. Oh, goodness me, I spelled temperature wrong. Okay. After writing the comment number 3, Celsius is similar to Kelvin. The only difference is that Celsius is 273 degrees less than Kelvin. Let's convert Kelvin to Celsius by subtracting 273 from the Kelvin variable. Store the result in another variable named Celsius. Okay, so now moving on, let's take Kelvin to Celsius by subtracting 273 from the Kelvin variable. Okay, so we're going to store it in a variable called Celsius, but it doesn't tell us if it must be a constant variable or not. So I'm just going to use the let Celsius just in case we need to reassign the variable. So Celsius is equal to Kelvin minus 293. Okay. $273, not 293. Okay, that's correct. Right, write a comment above. Okay, so I'm going to write a comment. Let's just say created variable Celsius, set it equal to Kelvin minus 273. So use this equation to calculate Fahrenheit, then store the answer in a variable named Fahrenheit. So we're creating a new variable called Fahrenheit. And then we take Celsius, which is the variable that we've already created, and multiply that by 9 divided by 5, and then add 32. Right. Okay, so in the next step, we will round the number saved to Fahrenheit. Choose the variable type that allows you to change its value, which is the let variable. Right. So now write a comment. So created new variable. Just say Fahrenheit. Set it equal to. I'm just going to say set it equal to equation. Right. Okay, so that's correct. When you convert from Celsius to Fahrenheit, you often get a decimal number. So use the .floor method from the built-in math object to round down the Fahrenheit temperature. Save the result to Fahrenheit variable. Okay, so basically we're going to reassign now the Fahrenheit variable, because we need to, if we for instance run it, like let's go ahead and console.log Fahrenheit, right? The variable itself. So just to give you the perfect example. So now if I run Fahrenheit, you'll see I get the number 68. Okay. Right, so I want to get a 9 divided by 5 plus 32. So I want to get a round number. So we need to round this off, right? So that's what I'm busy doing now. So let's go ahead, Fahrenheit. Okay. Then we're going to use the math.floor method, math.floor. Then Fahrenheit. So we're taking math.floor Fahrenheit and setting it equal to Fahrenheit, the variable. Okay, so now when I console.log, let's see what happens. So it gives me 68. Okay, so this is correct. As you can see here, Fahrenheit set equal to math.floor Fahrenheit. Okay, so yeah, I managed to reassign the variable, write a comment that explains what you've done. Now I'm going to just write it above here so it doesn't confuse me. So I'm just going to say, okay, reassigned Fahrenheit, reassign Fahrenheit to variable, or reassign Fahrenheit to variable math.floor Fahrenheit to variable Fahrenheit. Okay, so use console.log and string interpolation to log the temperature in Fahrenheit to the console as follows. Okay, so go ahead, console.log. If you recall, string interpolation is the template literals or the backticks that are just below the escape key and on the left-hand side of your number 1 key. So the temperature is in how many? So I'm going to replace now temperature with dollar curly braces, as you recall, Fahrenheit. Okay, just degrees Fahrenheit, and then I'm going to print it to the console. As you can see there, it's printing. The temperature is 68 degrees Fahrenheit. Okay, that's right. Okay, next, run your program, see the results. If you want to check your work, open the hint. Right, so it seems to be working. 293 Kelvin is about 68 degrees. That's right. That's exactly what it is. Okay, so number 11, by using variables, your program should work for any Kelvin temperature. Just change the value of Kelvin and run the program again. What's 0 Kelvin in Fahrenheit? Okay, so if I take now variable Kelvin, I'm going to change it to 0. Obviously, Fahrenheit's going to change. So as you can see now, it's 0 Kelvin is equal to negative 460 degrees Fahrenheit. So if I go ahead and I change Kelvin to, for instance, 50, it's going to change to negative 370 degrees Fahrenheit. So yeah, the program is running as it should. Okay, I'm just going to tick this off. All right, so that's it, guys. Now we're going to be moving forward.